welcome to my channel. I'm Ghost Prime, and this is the Retro Seaspray from Walmart. This is out now as of this video, and it is just a new Seaspray figure in a retro packaging. These retro-style packaging that are exclusive to Walmart are replacing the Generation 1 reissues. Damn. I'm kind of sad about it. I know these are really cool, but I like my G1 reissues.
It's an addiction.
Anyway, I actually lost this, and I couldn't find it. I forgot I even bought it, and I found it, and so now I'm opening up and reviewing it. I've had this for a couple of weeks, and I haven't done anything. Anyway, this will be a versus video, so it's going to be him versus the Titans Return one. So please like and subscribe, and without any further ado, let's get to the review. Before we get into the verses, we're going to have to open them up, but let's look at the packaging, because honestly, this is why we buy them, is this packaging. So you have the Generation 1 Seaspray image right here, but this is a new alt mode done where the old one would be. It's done in this very G1 packaging, Autobot Seaspray. They even package the instructions in the same manner as the originals. The old Hasbro logo. On the back, we have the tech specs and a description. So that's pretty cool. I do wish it was the longer style one with the numbers, just the little symbols, but hey, can't complain. This right here is a really, really cool box art piece, and I dig all these. I'm glad they're doing them. I still wish they were Generation 1s. All right, so let's get this guy open. All right, and out of the package, we're going to get close on that head sculpt. That head sculpt is very toyetic. The toy has the ridges and no eyes, like the cartoon has the eyes and no ridges on the head, which might change for the Studio Series version. That will probably be upcoming from this. He has the little sticker detail on the chest, some detail on the shins. Actually, I really, really dig all the detail on him. I think it looks pretty fantastic. Even all the little line work there and on the chest and on the legs. I think it looks really, really good and makes it so it's not just so smooth. Even the G1 toy was fairly smooth. Unlike the G1 toy, he does also come with a gun. Now the gun has a little port right there on the side that you could just stick the gun right there. If you want an over-the-shoulder sort of look, like G1 cars and stuff, that's mainly for alt mode, but it's there. You can, of course, hold it, and it fits in most of these points, although this you'd have to move the flap up and kind of wedge it in there, because there are those 5mm points. Now, these are cool. Maybe some people do use them. I know if you look at Botbender's videos, he does some really cool stuff with that. But this, I don't know. I'm ready for them to stop doing the holes in the side, personally. I would think a cleaner look would be nice. Now, Seaspray being a modern mini-bot, he is rather large. Seem to be getting bigger and bigger as far as the mini-bots, which is fine, because this thing costs like $30 or $25. It's going to cost more now, but I digress. There he is with Brawn, and as you can see, he is, I guess they're about the same size if you don't count the fans on the back. Still a really, really chunky figure. I guess as he should be. I feel like he feels chunkier than Brawn here. I don't have the other one, the toy version of him, but I think he's just super, super chunky. Which is definitely in opposition to his Generation 1. The details are there, like I mentioned before, these painted details like these stickers. And if you look here on his knees on the Generation 1, there's little circles and or thighs, and these kind of mimic that. I think that's a cool little detail. I'm not sure what the Studio Series is going to do with all that, but that's how he looks with the Generation 1. And there he is with the Titans Return, which is what I'm comparing him to, because I think most of us had this Titan Returns version as our definitive Seaspray in our collections up until now, if you're buying this one. And really what this video is about is comparing these two to see which one you want to keep and which one you want to sell or toss or whatever you do, give to a kid down the street.
Please, sir. I want some more.
All right, so I'm going to start with comparing the head sculpts rather than the size. I already went over how big these are, so if you want mini bots, go with this one. So just speaking of in terms of design, this one strays away from the design of the Generation 1 cartoon and toy, making sort of a representation of it instead of a, slavishly accurate version, where this one goes for a very accurate version to the toy. Now, again, just to make it cartoon accurate, make a smooth cowl there and blue eyes inside the visor. But, I mean, that sort of motif goes on throughout the Titans Return one. This one does not have a Autobot logo, where this one does, but they both have these sort of toyetic stickers, although I think this one did more accurate. These are not stickers, they're paint, but this I think is more accurate than this one is. But if you look at them just from a design perspective, they are very, very different. This is very bulky, very much a cube with legs, little smaller arms, and he has part of his chest as a gun, which I never liked. I never liked this here. Luckily, you could just leave that on for his little belly design, like he has a little pot belly there. And the feet. But this one goes for a much more realistic, almost futuristic sort of look than he does. He goes back to that sort of cartoon, toy accurate version. So it really depends on what you're looking for in your collection. I like this version. I actually asked my wife which one she likes better. She likes this one because she likes the aesthetics more. Definitely takes a lot more liberties and gives it more of a design, departure from being slavishly accurate to some previous media. Articulation, this one definitely has it. This one does not have a waist joint, and it has ball joints pretty much for all the arms. His head does turn, but I can't really get my fingers in there.
Oh, wait, sausage fingers?
He has ball joints for the hip, I think. Yeah, ball joint for the hip. He has mushroom pegs, and then his knees are really terrible. Charlie Brown looking knees. Not great. But he does have the thigh swivels. I guess bicep swivel is a ball joint. You count that. It has basic articulation for the time. So it kind of gets a pass for that. But this has a lot better articulation, especially since it has a waist joint. No ab crunch, but it does have a little bit of ankle rocker. Not a whole hell of a lot. But you kind of could move this out and get them to have a little more movement if that's what you want, because it does work that way. So you can get them to have more movement. No butterflies in the arms. But again, this is a deluxe. So what could you expect for that?
Everything.
So here he is in all mode. No, I'm not showing transformation. Let me know if you want to see that. I'll make a separate video on that. There's tons of videos on this out already. This is a versus video for that reason. But I do want to say about the transformation is it's really involved for what this is. And actually, I think it's kind of cool. You do get his head sticking out the back, which is a shame. But other than that, I think it's better than what they did at Titan's Return. This looks pretty decent. I was surprised at the transformation of this. And let's bring in the Generation 1 real quick for the first comparison. You can see right there. It is kind of interesting how they have the silver around here. I think that's supposed to mimic this, the rub sign. They could have made it a little smaller, but not too bad. The Autobot logo there. This one has wheels. This one does not. And that's a shame. I know it'd be on the arms, and they could have made it here, though. I mean, I don't know if there'd be a really good way to do it, but I wish it did have wheels. That's something that they started doing recently, is take away those wheels. Overall, I mean, it does a pretty fair job at being this one. And it's pretty good. And bringing in the Titans Return. So you can see it is much, much larger. But as a boat, it is much different. Much, much different. This one definitely has a more realistic look, although I cannot stand how they hide the head in this one. That's because this one's gimmick is to open up, and you could put a Titan Master in there, and he could transport them. But then you move that, and there's his head's exposed, so he could just sort of ride around like that with his head exposed. Never been a fan of that one, but I do like overall design of this one. And this one being so tiny, I wouldn't mind a bigger one, to be honest. This really, really fits as far as a Seaspray design. Looks more like the toy, kind of more accurate to what we think Transformers would be. And honestly, this one compacts pretty good, so it's not too much larger than this one. As you can see, the actual, I guess, balloon size is supposed to be at the bottom of the hovercraft is relatively the same. Neither of them have wheels. As you can see, the bottom, they're similar. Both arms are there. Theirs are backwards, and the legs are in the front. These are collapsed. Oop. So, honestly, I do like the back end of this one where this one's unfinished. This one has a much nicer looking rear, although he has hands sticking off. So, neither of these are perfect, but I do think that this one takes it. Originally, I was not going to get him at all. I was going to keep him because I think this really looked good. I was satisfied with this one in my collection. Although the change in scale kind of did bother me, but it's Transformers. They're always out of scale. But overall, I really think they did a good job with this one. And I wish I would have opened it sooner to get it to you guys sooner. I don't mind that the gun's here. I wish that they could be just under here in alt mode. I don't see a reason why they could not have done that. But if you want to put the gun on there, there it is. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you're going to keep this one or which one you like better. And I'll see you in the next review.